Namaste, my name is Shudipta Mukherjee, Chief Manager, Education and Training, Shri Ram Limited. Children are the world's best imitators as they learn many things by absorbing them unconsciously. Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore was convinced that atmosphere influences children's education the most, and hence the creative and aesthetic potentialities of atmosphere are vital in education. In short, environment is indeed the third teacher. As educators, facilitators, and parents, the onus is on us in creating conditions that help intensify children's connection with the environment to promote thinking children. At TSRA, we are ever so keen upon providing our little ones with unrestricted access to nature and its elements that allow them to explore, investigate, create, and innovate for a better tomorrow. Namaste. Namaste, parents. Have you ever wondered how a learning space influences a child and helps them in taking ownership of their learning? Children are instinctual inquirers with an inherent appetite for learning that can be satiated by providing learning spaces that align with the intended approach to growth and nurturance. Inspired by Thornburg's philosophy of learning zones, in which humans have learned for ages, as in campfire, cave, watering hole, and life. Spaces at TSRA 2 draw parallels between these learning spaces and learning situations, such as campfire, a space for storytelling where children learn from experts, watering hole, a space for interaction with their peers, cave, a space for reflection, and life, a space for learning by doing, that is, applying their knowledge to real life situations. We have done this with an intention and objective to promote the 4 C's of the 21st century learning, that is creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, and communication. When students have developed a bit of metacognitive language around their learning spaces, they are able to take control and ownership of their learning right from the elementary years. Namaste. Namaste, parents. Welcome back to our Just a Minute series. Home is where heart is. Our kitchenette space at TSRA is an intentional space created to focus on the sensory and muscular development of our little ones. The curriculum devised would be transdisciplinary in nature. The mantra for our kitchenette is sow, serve, and sustain. So while having food is something to celebrate, do we ever wonder consciously enough just how much food we end up wasting? Food wastage is a global issue. According to a report by the National Resources Defense Council, 40% of the food goes uneaten in US, whereas in Asia alone, 1.3 billion tons of food is wasted every year. Well, the practice of sow, serve, and sustain focuses and allows our little ones to celebrate nature while sowing their produce, nurturing it, respecting it, and ensuring that the food served does not encourage wastage, while also sustaining the nutritive value to optimize health for a healthier, conscious, and a better tomorrow. Namaste.
Namaste everyone, and welcome back to our Jam series. If you're a parent of a school-going child and would like to know more about Makerspace, stay with me for the next 60 seconds. Who is a maker? And what image does this evoke in your mind? Maybe someone who works with his or her hands to make things such as design spaces, make sculptures, build houses, and the like. But what if I tell you that a maker is just anyone who makes things? A maker is anyone who creates. John Piaget, a developmental psychologist, put forth knowledge as a process rather than a product, where understanding requires that the learners actively engage in meaning making. And this exactly forms the essence of a makerspace at TSRA. At TSRA, the learners have the freedom to make any space their own makerspace around a range of makerspace tools such as robotics, 3D modeling, coding, electronics, woodcraft, fabrication, and so much more. This sort of an engagement leads to internalization of the most important 21st century skills such as creativity, innovation, problem solving, and critical thinking. But most importantly, it nurtures a passion for learning, the most essential skill of all, and I hope you'd all agree with this. So let's together build a space for your child where they can get creating at their own whims and fancies towards a better, creative, and an innovative tomorrow. Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste, everyone. Welcome back to our Just a Minute series. Alone, we can achieve little, but together, we can transcend boundaries beyond our imagination. This thought today brings me to talk about collaboration in this segment of Jam. And collaboration, as the word suggests, cannot work in isolation. Therefore, at the Shri Ram Academy, collaboration is a four-way handshake with the students, parents, Shri Educare Limited, and with the International Board of Education. And amongst these, the relationship between the teacher and the taught forms the heart of all our collaborations, with a focus on creation of a base on which mental dispositions can be developed and nurtured for our students to become agentic and reflective learners. The Shri Ram Academy strives to provide a space where young learners are empowered enough to make choices and decisions for themselves after responsible thinking process. Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste, and a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. It gives me great pleasure in extending a warm welcome to Ms. Sindura Indukuri and Ms. Aishwarya Kurra, a Managing Director of the Shri Ram Schools, Hyderabad, Dr. Jyoti Radhikanta, Director of Education, the Shri Ram Hyderabad Schools, and the Founder Principal of the Shri Ram Universal School, Ms. Nisha Chander, Vice President Operations, the Shri Ram Hyderabad Schools, Mr. Muhammad Rizwan, Head of the School, the Shri Ram Academy, Ms. Sunita Gujjala, Deputy Head of Primary School, the Shri Ram Academy, Ms. Nadia Patel, the PYP Coordinator at the Shri Ram Academy, and last but not the least, our staff, our parents from the Shri Ram Universal School and the Shri Ram Academy family. A very warm welcome to all of you. The Shri Ram Academy strongly believes in encouraging students and developing the habits of mind through joyful and learning experiences. And research shows that effective leadership is essential in school. When schools have effective leaders, they are far more likely to be effective and to positively impact students' achievement and learning, and thus nurturing and sustaining a climate of trust throughout. So without much delay, let me introduce our esteemed panelists for the day. Our first panelist, Dr. Jyoti Radhikanta, a passionate educationist, a great colleague, an inspiring leader, a proud Rotarian, a life and executive coach, and much more. Jyoti ma'am dons all these hats with much elan. A recipient of exemplary COVID-19 Pandemic Edu Leader Award from Education World 2021, the Rex Karamveer Award, the Rashtriya Shiksha Ratan Award, the Progressive Principal Award, the Hall of Fame Award in 2019, the Women Leadership Award in 2020 and 2021, the COVID-19 Women Heroes from Education Sector on International Women's Day 2021 are just a few of the many accolades to her credit. These awards and accolades are a result of her passion and consistent efforts to make a difference in every sphere of her work. With every award or accolade, she raises the bar of her responsibility and expectations of herself. Welcome, Jyoti ma'am. Our second panelist, Mr. Muhammad Rizwan, Head of School, the Shri Ram Academy, is a postgraduate in mathematics and an alumnus of the American College in Madurai, and has a vast experience in international and Indian curricula. He has served as a mathematics teacher and an administrator in well-reputed international schools for the past 22 years in India and abroad. In his previous assignment, he served as the whole school vice principal of Indus International School, Hyderabad, for 7 years, mentoring his team to implement IBPYP, IBMYP, IBDP efficiently. He is passionate about teaching mathematics, and has taught in various curricula, including IBDP, IGCSE, CBSE, ISE, and ICSE. Welcome, sir. Our third panelist, Ms. Sunita Gujjala, Deputy Head of Primary School at the Shri Ram Academy. Ms. Sunita Gujjala is an amiable professional with over 24 years of experience in state, national, and international curricula, with a steadfast goal to provide students with the opportunity to enhance their skills and promote lifelong learning. She, as an educationist, is equipped with skills like leadership, collaboration, project management, and persuasion. The expertise she has gained over the years in the multiple roles she has undertaken makes her a distinguished leader and a visionary. Welcome, Sunita ma'am. Moving on to the fourth and the final panelist, Ms. Nadia Patel, the PYP coordinator at the Shri Ram Academy. Skilled and dedicated primary year school educator with experience of 12 years in IB board, well equipped and resourceful in identifying child's individual and collective learning needs. Ms. Nadia is highly motivated in bringing out what is the best and hidden in the children of all age levels. She worked as a PYP coordinator for Symbiosis International School and led a team of trained PYP facilitators, been an integral part of the core committee during the IB PYP evaluation in the year 2011 and had the opportunity to lead the second IB PYP evaluation in the year 2016. Welcome, Nadia ma'am. Now that we know our panelists, I would like to introduce Mr. Pawan, the moderator for today's webinar. Mr. Pawan Kumar is an award-winning marketing expert, entrepreneur, and podcaster with 13 plus years of versatile industry experience, including education, sustainability, and sports. Mr. Pawan Kumar, along with his team of co-founders, Rangarajan and Shujana, have launched a 3-minute micro-learning app for children called Library. The Study Buddy app, which has become the promising EdTech app of the year 2022. He loves to work in the areas of child learning, parent empowerment, sustainability, and active sports cultures. You can listen to his podcasts on Spotify at D0 Stories. So I request Mr. Pawan, the moderator for today's webinar, to take over from here. But before Mr. Pawan take over, I would like the participants joining through webinar and Facebook to post your queries in the respective chat or comment boxes. Ms. Poonam and Ms. Mariam will share the queries with the moderators and panelists. So over to you, Mr. Pawan.
Thank you, Ms. Nidhi. That was quite an intro. And thanks for having me here as the moderator with all these diverse personalities here. So all through my career, I've been working on many initiatives, including education, working on parent communication, marcom, etc. But one thing in the last few years, of course, when I started the podcast, started connecting, interviewing many entrepreneurs across the world, what I saw is every experience is very unique, and it's very important that I need to widen the horizons. So this is where my new horizon of talking to all and trying to represent the questions I have. I also represent the larger, wider parenting world and the questions I got from them, in fact, to kind of present it all of you guys. So when I grow up, I have one mantra that actually kind of I chased always. When play approaches learn, more learning happens. So this was taught by my English teacher. I still remember her name. I'm a favorite of her. So I try to apply that in various walks of life, whenever in the college, then of course in my first job later, because so whenever there is a play that happens to the learning and more happy learning happens and more innovation and outcome is beautiful. Sadly, when we grow up, not the education is not that sort. We struggle to find that kind of opportunities. I'm so happy to see the schools like Shri Ram Academy opening up this promise. And of course, I work with many schools across India. When I see Shri Ram Academy, it's opening up. The word I was thrilled by this word called Unboxayana, right? Unboxayana. So it's actually opening up a big hope of new possibilities of learning and new experience. Right? Can't wait to put my questions to all of you. Rizwan sir, Jyoti Reddy ma'am, Sunita Garu, and Nadia. Thanks for having me here. So shall we start? I'm excited as you are. All right. So to everyone, so I will actually start with Jyoti ma'am and of course followed by Rizwan and Sunita and Nadia. So my first question is, we said, of course, this is not a webinar. This is unboxing and conversation. So I want to appreciate, we need your open-hearted talk actually, right? So we'll actually start with this question, which is very much personal. So I want to understand, I want you to take us through your world of beliefs, passions and interests that really made you what you are. and now you are the leader of Shri Ram Academy. As his journey, as unveils or unboxes at the Shri Ram Academy, how is this going to impact the learning culture and the space of Shri Ram Academy also? I'll start with Jyoti ma'am.
Namaste and a very happy evening to one and all. It's a beautiful question, Pawan. As you said, it's the right question to start a conversation with a person. Whether it is my attitude or your attitude, I believe that our attitudes are expressions of our beliefs, values, and the choices that we make. Having said that, I am humbled and privileged to say that I am from a humble background, coming from an agricultural family where my parents are not that educated. So my childhood has impacted me a lot. The immediate environment and my personal values, which are a result of values of my family, the associations I made with people as I grow in my journey, even till date, and the exposure that I got, that made a lot of difference on my life. Despite being not that educated, my parents have created an environment. They have created an environment. I started reading books. My mama used to get the books so that I developed reading habit. She didn't know how to read English, but she used to subscribe Frontline India Today, CSR. When I was in grade 5 and 6, I picked up that. Growing in a village, in terms of going on a summer vacation or going for a summer vacation, I met and made associations with my cousins, my uncles, my aunts, grandparents, and people from village to understand what human relationship is, right? That had an impact. Growing in a village, again, nature has played a major role in my life. And the associations I made with people as my mentors, as my trainers, as my friends, colleagues, and the choices that I made, that made a lot of difference. And most of all, having a vision and a clarity for myself. To cut it short, I wanted to become a doctor because I wanted to get into the service sector. It couldn't happen. Then I thought, okay, I will become an IAS officer to serve the community. That didn't happen for inevitable reasons. Okay. So I use the associations I use, but my end goal is having the vision of getting into the service sector. Today, here I am in education, which is the greatest service that I feel. And having uneducated parents are from an agricultural family background and a village background, my brother got into defense services and served the nation as an army officer, and I became an educator serving the society. So how much our environment, family, the purpose of life, having a purpose in life and having right environment, right associations, that make our belief system or value system influence our life. Today, what we are is the result of all of these. So as the leader of Shri Ram Academy, what I would like to do is to create the right environment for my children, for my teachers, for all the stakeholders, whoever is associated with TSRA, so that they pursue their beautiful dreams. And I never lost child in my heart. I am a happy-go-lucky person. So I want that child is alive in everyone's heart at TSRA. I never give up on my goals, neither on my people. So I'm going to ensure that we don't give up on any child who is associated with TSRA. I'm not going to give up on any colleague or any parent. So that makes a lot of difference, right? So until and unless they give up on themselves, we are not going to give up, so that they pursue their dreams and the people who are associated with are happy. Because my personal quote is, happiness leads to excellence, not excellence to happiness. So we are going to create a happy environment to achieve everyone's dream, having a beautiful journey. I hope I have answered your answer, your question.
You did. Because I'm very curious about this question, because till now we might see a school by the frameworks, the philosophies, the curriculums that actually build it. But I'm very much eager to hear from the leaders who will be making this learning space into reality. So this question is very essential, and I heard what I have to hear. Thank you. Rizwan.
Namaste. I wish you all a pleasant evening. Thanks, Pawan. I think you've given me an opportunity to share my personal and professional journey, my beliefs, the values that I actually values, and my passion with a wider audience. Though I had a memorable childhood, which I wouldn't mind living all over again. I did go through a few crucible experiences which have impacted me personally and professionally. One such experience was my father's demise while I was studying in grade 9. I vividly remember the challenges we faced, especially my mother, after this life-altering event. My mother stood firm like a rock and protected us. I have two sisters from all the hardships we faced. She's my role model, and I learned empathy, resilience, discipline, hard work, and above all, to be a good human being from her. To rephrase American politician Mr. Alan Simpson's words, if you are a good human being, nothing else matters. If you're not a good human being, nothing else matters. My mother also served as a teacher for more than 3 decades, and I have seen her dedication and commitment to her students. When I started my journey as a teacher in 2000, I had no trouble following in her footsteps. During the first half of my professional life, I thought I knew my role as a teacher. I thought I had clarity. It is to teach mathematics, ensure that my students get good marks in the examinations, and they say in Tamil Nadu we call centum. If students should get centum, perfect score, and help them apply the math concepts in real life situations. Only during the second half of my career, I realized how naive I was. I realized that the purpose of education is not just to ensure that we help our students become good human beings, but also prepare them to be startup ready, to thrive in a VUCA world, a world which is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Now, working with Lieutenant General Arjun Ray, who's my second role model, incidentally, made me realize that I need to unlock my potential first before unlocking the potential of my students. I feel that we need to develop anti-fragility in our students and not just resilience. I mean, the major difference is, while resilience is about managing chaos, anti-fragility is about thriving in chaos, which we need at present. And finally, I believe that we need to teach the child and not the subject alone. Back in the days, I mean, most of us lived in joint families, and the real education, the life education, happened at home. For example, I lived in a house that had at least 12 people at any time. I lived with my grandparents, aunts, and cousins. Most of my relatives were just a stone's throw away from my house. We learned values, including respect and care, and developed skills and competencies through our interaction with our family members. Unfortunately, the present generation, most children nowadays, they live in a nuclear families. They don't spend sufficient time with their grandparents. In fact, my children, my own biological children, spend only a month every year with their grandparents, which really pains me a lot. I mean, all of us know parents have lots of responsibilities, and they are unable to spend time with the children as much as they would love to. Hence, I firmly believe that the schools must take ownership to instill values and develop competencies in our students. Schools must fill the gap that exists right now. I joined the Shri Ram Academy because my values and beliefs completely align with the school's vision, philosophy, and values. I'm confident that this alignment will help me give my best to the Shri Ram Academy.
Thank you, Rizwan. So that point you touched about the joint family fabric, the moral fabric that comes from the wisdom, the family wisdom. It's if we get this as a culture, underlying culture into schools like Shri Ram Academy, that would be really, really life-changing. I really appreciate all of your words. Sunita.
Namaste and a very good evening to everyone. Thank you, Pawan, for that question. I come from a family of teachers. So teaching is a choice by default. And the chance of getting absorbed into an IB world led to a change in my life on the personal as well as professional front. Choice, chance, and change are the 3 C's I feel are the most important in my life. Working and interacting with multi-generational groups, considering and analyzing multiple perspectives from digital natives and digital immigrants keeps my zeal for lifelong learning intact. Learning from professional learning communities, reading different genres, going for long drives while listening to different music genres, attending Sunday Mass, which I learned from my childhood, and traveling give me immersive experiences as well as balance my kokoro. This is a famous word at the TSRE. Kokoro is in fact a Japanese word which means body, mind, and spirit. I think all these, they keep me balanced.
Kokoro.
Kokoro, yes. To sum it up, I strongly believe that the focus on these 3 C's, making the right choices, sometimes it may go wrong. Taking chances, working towards positive change, keeping the zeal for lifelong learning, and balancing our kokoro will definitely impact the diverse teaching and learning communities that we are going to have at TSRA. So I think these will definitely work for all of us at TSRA.
Thank you, Sunita. And we are equally excited about to understand what is kokoro in long run. So let's kokoro be everywhere. Let's what hear this. Like, over to Nadia.
Namaste, everyone. I'm Nadia. I'm a very, very passionate primary educator. And I'll be playing the role of the PYPC at the TSRA Academy. To start with, my journey as a teacher is something that, I always wanted to be, because I always aspired to be. Even as a child, I would, take the chalk and the duster in my hand. And I had 2 younger siblings at home, so would keep training them and tutoring them. Sometimes they did curse me for it, but then I enjoyed it. I loved it. And so I was very, very sure that I'm going to pick up this profession at a very young age. Later on, when I actually started teaching the NIM sport, that's the National Open Institute. I started teaching grade 10 and 12. But then I came across an opportunity in a school that was in the year 2007. And it was quite different than what I was actually doing. I was to interact with the early years group, and I started teaching there. I thoroughly enjoyed what I was doing, and I felt that this is my niche. This is the place where I want to be. And this is the group that I really enjoy working with. So I started with the early years, and in 2008, I moved to Symbiosis International School, which is an IB curriculum. And there again, I worked as the early years teacher, then moved in as a PYP homeroom teacher. And from 2016, I'm in the role of the PYP coordinator. So I think I will continue myself being in the role of a primary teacher, because this is something that I know is something for me and something that's that I really, really enjoy now doing. So there is no looking back at it. What I wish to create is, that love of learning for every learner. I want to create that awe, that wonder, that curiosity amongst them to learn. So, like as a leader, I really want my learners to have an experience like a video game, because, this is the digital world and children just love playing video games. So I want to create that kind of a school experience for them, where they are, not just watching a movie, because every movie has a beginning, the middle, and the end, and the story is, pretty definite. At the same time, you don't have control over it. But when you talk or when you play a video game, you can choose your own path. You can take your own direction. You can decide, what steps you want to do. So you create your own story. You create your own experience. Similarly, I want my learners to have that agency to choose and decide their success, create their own learning stories.
You know what, Nadia? This is like the most vibrant reply I've heard from an educator so far. Bringing that gamified experience into learning, this is wonderful. And I see a good team already forming. Jyoti, Rizwan, Sunita, and Nadia. So, guys who are being part of the webinar, witness to the webinar, drop in your questions. The team will actually kind of answer it during the course of this webinar. However, as I move to the specific questions, Jyoti ma'am, for you. Okay, so I have my first question like this. In the Hyderabad, especially in the heart of financial district, like having an IB school is actually a biggest change maker. Now, TSRA being the school in the heart of financial district and trying to bring in IB education, and what is the kind of impact that you are looking to make now?
Pawan, first of all, for all of us, TSRA is not just a school, it's an emotion. Even Sunita ma'am mentioned the same in the promo video for this discussion on the social media, right? So it's an emotion for all of us. It's our dream project. Our vision is very clear because it's not a matter of intellect. Our vision is a matter of touching hearts. And before we launched the Shri Ram Academy, we have done our groundwork thoroughly, and we would like to connect the dots and fill the gaps that we came across from the minds of parents during our analysis or data collection. First is that point. So we are very clear where to go. So when you use the word impact, we can see an impact of a project or of anything only after a long period of time, not immediately. But we can experience the waves of impact in the journey, right? And as Rizwan sir mentioned, our leadership team's personal values are completely aligned with the core values of the organization. So the execution falls flat when there is a conflict between personal values and organizational values. Here, the entire team, including the management, our value systems are completely aligned with the organizational values, right? So, in our vision statement, it's only walking the talk that we are going to do to show the impact. In our vision statement, we have used words like to produce conscious creators, conscious innovators, conscious leaders and thinkers. So the word we used, conscious, is consciously to ensure that values become the strong part of the learning journey of the child, right? When we have used the words like creators, innovators, thinkers, and leaders, they are not just simple words to use it for a fancy statement of vision, right? It needs concept clarity. It needs knowledge. It needs all 21st century skills that we discuss about critical thinking, collaboration, etc., 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 right? So to produce creators, innovators, thinkers, leaders, It's not that easy. So we are very clear with our mission statement. How are we going to do? Right? And the philosophy is very clear. So as a strategic thinker of the core leadership team, my role is to ensure that we make our vision a reality. And the impact that you are going to speak, we are confident that we'll achieve in terms of the generation. Because impact could be felt in the society only when a generation is changed, when our pass outs get into the society as real workers in the society, as contributors, and we use the word conscious global citizens. So walking the talk, and every success story of the great people in the world, if you see the vision, thought, action, implementation, then the destination. That's the flow. So we are very clear with the vision. We are very clear with why we started, how we want to make a difference, and for a better tomorrow. So definitely we are going to have that impact, and our core values, integrity, right? We want to produce creators who are not the creators and innovators of Holocaust during Nazi's time. We want to produce conscious creators, and integrity is the core value. Courage is the core value. Pride in one's heritage is one of the core values. Sensitivity is the core value, right? All these core values are very much important to be very, very clear. The joyful pursuit of excellence is one of the core values. The name we made for ourselves at TSUS is just because we were walking that talk all these 5 years. We were very, very conscious about every word and every action that we took at TSUS, aligning with our core values. That has become our brand relation. The brand value is Shri is for values, Shri is for their vision statements. So as the director of education, the programs that we are going to take up, the activities that we are going to take up, the collaborations that we are going to do, the lifelong learning is the mantra at Shri Ram schools. So every day we try ourselves. So all these things are going to be a part and parcel of the child, even if they take admission in nursery. When these things become a part and parcel over a period of time, the impact is going to be felt by the parents and the society. Meanwhile, I'm not saying that you wait for years to see the impact. Right from year one, we are confident that the waves of impact and the influence are going to be experienced by the parents and other stakeholders in an experiential way through our academic program and our MIRAC program, which is going to be the Shri differentiator for the people to discuss about what is this MIRAC, like how Sunita ma'am used the word Kokoro. Wait for the action. Thank you, Pawan. I think I have answered your question as the director of education. Maybe you will be getting more insights from the people who are going to work on the ground.
Absolutely. You set the vision very much right, actually. Like, we really want to see Shri Ram Academy kind of unfolding it. So the year one is eye of the impact. So it will actually unfold as it says. But you actually pointed about one point, actually, one aspect in your discussion. You talked about collaboration. IB is all about crafting life, basically. It's not about careers, it's larger than that. Now, Shri Ram Academy coming into this crafting of life that happens only with collaborations. Now, what kind of collaborations you're envisioning in the space of Shri Ram Academy? I'm very curious to know, because I'm coming from the ZTech space, working with many schools and also right now on this brand called library and all these things. So there's a lot of collaborations which actually make this child at the center more enriching. We call it leveling up, actually. So I really want to understand from your end, what kind of collaboration you're envisioning at Shri Ram Academy?
Is this question for me?
Of course, ma'am. This is for you.
Okay, fine. Oh, you have deviated from the series, right? Wonderful question. So I prefer the word partnership than collaboration, first of all, because collaboration is something like working together. whereas partnership is like long-term investment for a mutual benefit. However, we collaborate, right, at workplace, and it's the core word of IB curriculum, and not just IB curriculum or any other curriculum. Collaboration is the must and should in the world today, right? So for me, collaboration leads to collective thinking and working, which leads to better ideas, right? That leads to better innovation, right? That leads to produce better creators and creations, and that leads to better leadership. So the creation and innovation actually starts from collaboration and collective thinking. So I would like to look at this word collaboration from different angles. First, I feel I would like to concentrate or focus on the word collaboration in the school. The collaboration between students, collaboration amongst teachers, collaboration with parents, right? Within the school first, that's the focus, because they collectively think, they collectively work, they produce better ideas, they work. So that's their goal. So collaboration at school is the first focus. The second, collaboration with the community. When I say community, so many stakeholders come into the picture. Having a strong advisory board consisting of different professionals from different backgrounds, having people who are working and contributing to the society, having bureaucrats, having artists, having different sides of people from different sides of life. That's community. Collaboration with the service organization to contribute, right? Then next, collaboration with our own TSRA parents. That's what is parent partnership. Parent partnership is felt by our parents at TSUS. We are going to make it phenomenal with TSRA too. So parent partnership leads to excellence in different ways, right? So collaboration with community, collaboration. So when I say community, collaboration with edupreneurs. See, everything in today's world, as per the expectation, the school can't deliver the results in terms of having expertise and trainings. For example, artificial intelligence. Though our teachers are trained in artificial intelligence, I would like to collaborate with experts from that field so that we partner together and go towards the excellence, because one of the core values is joyful pursuit of excellence, right? So different entrepreneurs, different bureaucrats, different people from the community. That's collaboration with the community, collaboration with the parents, collaboration within the school. And the last one, what I feel, digital collaboration. When I say digital collaboration, I want to bring the world to TSRA, because professional networking can happen across the world with digital collaboration. So my teachers can network and have relationships. They can collaborate with the teachers, professors, educators, and different sort of people across the world, right? We collaborate with people from the digital world to enhance our teaching strategies, to enhance our execution of what we want, to enhance the strategies to reach or make our vision real. So in that way, at a strategic level, I want to concentrate on spending more time on collaborations